Well, the cat might be the star, actually. All right, we'll get rolling. Welcome back to the CAMO Convoy podcast with Aaron and Nick. In this episode, we are going to hear from some competitors from the 24 Hours of Appalachia Finals. So with us tonight, we have Ross and Aaron from Team Bronco. What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you doing?
And we have Patrick representing from Team Montero. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
What's on the menu? What are we drinking tonight?
Oh, I got me some Modelo.
Ooh, all right.
Fresh
Leaf iced
cow.
tea.
West Virginia National Guard water bottle.
Nice.
Got me
I'm
a
pretty
Yingling.
lame. I have some mushroom tea, and not the fun kind, just some plain old nasty. It tastes like dirt.
Dirt water.
But
Yep.
I am once again sick, so I don't know. I have a non-functional immune system apparently, but also 4 children to bring me the illness. So you guys had some fun last weekend.
We did.
The Haunted Hollers, Nobody Gets Out Alive was the name of that event. And that to me does not sound like a walk up Peter's Mill. So before the rally, what did you guys do differently as far as preparation? Because I think that this one was a lot more intense than the rallies that we've had in the past. So Ross, what did prep look like for you guys?
Prep was changing my tires from 33s to 5s, and a lot of Zen meditation to just stay calm. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
It was not fun because I also had to take off crash bars to get the tires on, but that was my prep.
Now, just so for anyone that doesn't know, Ross, what were you driving?
I was driving a 21s Broncos Badlands 2-door, 2.3 cylinder, 7-speed manual. So it
Nice.
cruised. I'd done previous 24s in a 4-door, 2.7, and I love the manual, and I love this truck. So it did really, really well. We pushed it. We probably didn't push it as far as we could have pushed it to, get a little bit extra time in, but it cruised up the hills. It cruised through mud. We did winch a couple times, but it was great.
Yeah. And other than, for those of you that haven't seen the truck, so other than bumping up to 35s and throwing a winch on it, that truck is essentially stock performance wise.
Yes.
So if you remember last week, Aaron and I talked, the Broncos were kind of our pick for top performers and high performing vehicles. You guys proved us right. So that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Patrick, what did prep look like for the Montero? I suspect it was slightly different than slap new rubber on it and send it.
It was replace my map sensor that went out during miners and loggers too, and my battery died 2 weeks before, so I replaced that and put half a quart of oil in it, and that was it.
Nice.
And that got him so much more horsepower going up those hills.
Yeah.
Aaron and I were shocked how much faster they were going up those dirt roads and those gravel roads. It was crazy that Montero was flying.
That's all. Well, I'm glad now. I guess it could breathe and meter air properly. It knew that it could run, so that's cool. So what was the atmosphere like when you guys got down there? It looked like from my end there was some pretty serious trick or treating going on.
Very. I think the entire county, Owsley County, Kentucky, came out. It was fantastic. There wasn't an inch on that street you could walk without running into a kid or anybody. Just having a great time.
Yeah, it was great seeing the local people and the kids all dressed up in costume and going through that candy. So it was nice.
That's awesome. That's cool. Any did they do? Was there a vehicle show? Was it a parade, or did everyone park out there?
We just parked. We parked down the road from the fire department. They closed off a small section of road, set up on either side of the road, and the kids and their parents just walk through one side and down the other.
Okay. Now, most importantly, did you guys dress up?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Where's the costumes, guys?
Dirty AF.
Dirty. So, yeah. So we did dress up, which was extra points. But one thing, just to divert back to, a lot of people did decorate their rigs with stickers and lights, and there were some really good decorations on side-by-sides. But by far this decoration was the pirate ship. And I don't know if you put pictures up, but somebody converted a Jeep and put a single-mast, double-sailed pirate ships with Jolly Rogers, and they were dressed up as Jolly Rogers. They looked great. It was
cool.
It was so high it couldn't get under the arch, right? So it was designed. It was beautiful. So people went all out on this thing. It was great.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. What about the bikes? Did any bikes do any? I thought I saw a guy in a pumpkin or something riding a
He's in
bike.
a minion. A guy in a minion costume was riding his bike around.
Yeah, the
That's
bikes were
awesome.
into it.
Well, what were you guys? What was the costume?
So officially, we forgot our costumes on Friday night, so we had extra reflective vests. So Aaron and I were OSHA inspectors.
Oh, I would have guessed Chippendales dancers.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, and then during the ride, I wore a Prince Charming costume, which got a little
Oh.
bit, muddy.
He lost his medal.
Yeah, I lost my medal somewhere, but I had my sash. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that was fun.
Patrick, you guys were a crowd favorite with the kids.
We tapped into the the internet sphere meme, whatever you want to call it, for what generation is this? Zennials or what are
I
they
think we're
called?
Zoomers now. Z,
Zoomers?
perhaps.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, all I did was draw and color a 6 and a 7 on 2 pieces of cardboard, and then told the kids they had to pick their favorite number when they came up to it. And literally every kid there was screaming 6, 7 the entire time.
I've never seen kids go so crazy over 2 numbers.
I have been accused of being chronically online. I usually know what's going on. I'm pretty active on a lot of pages. I genuinely don't actually understand the 6-7 thing. I
That's the
feel
point.
like my grandparents,
That's the point. Nobody understands it.
but I kind of like it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing that one. I know for whatever reason people love it, and I'm glad that the kids liked it. So where did you guys sleep? Did you guys camp or did you get a hotel?
Our brother Derek actually found a cabin in what is that town?
Verbo.
Beattyville.
Beattyville.
Beattyville, yeah.
Beattyville.
Verbo and
Just-
Beattyville.
10 minutes up the road during their Woolly Worm Festival. So it was a
was
hopping
packed.
town.
It was
We found
fun.
a little cabin, and it was 2-bedroom and enough room for the 3 of us, and it was great.
That's
Cool.
nice. That's cozier than a random hotel, I imagine. So that's good. Did you guys actually get to sleep?
The night before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get too anxious, man. I don't sleep well before the events, and then I get up like 2 hours too early and then just sit there and stare at everything. So I don't know. I get pretty anxious. What was the morning like? How did you guys line up? Was it any different?
It was pretty normal, actually. They, different from Hinton this last year, they put all the bikes and all the side-by-sides together at one time, not
Okay.
split them out. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
And
And then originally they said that we would be releasing entire size order from biggest to smallest, but that did not take place, and I never got an answer why.
they went by number order, but then randomly they would take someone and put them ahead of everyone. So I
Okay.
don't
kinda
understand
weird.
what
Yeah.
the release order was. So
Now, when did you guys go out?
I'd say we were mid.
You guys were
We were
yeah,
20.
mid, because there was about 40. I think there was 40.
Nice. And you guys were both A class, right?
Yes.
I wasn't aware
Well, we
that there
didn't
was a
even
class.
know, actually.
Considering it was an invitational, you had to do one prior.
Yeah, that was strange that they even had. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was strange they had classes.
I tried to do the registration, and when I went into it, it just said I was already registered. So they just picked for me.
Okay, nice. So first few miles, historically have usually been a little bit of a roadblock. Was that the same with this one or a little bit better?
I would say no.
it-
It was actually the best start I've had in one.
Well, you
Good.
guys weren't behind.
But
though.
I think that was also due to not having as many, and the side by sides and bikes were ahead of us to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You may
Probably
have
a little
seen
better
some of
talent pool too of people in that event,
yeah.
being
And
invitational.
Also, the beginning was you didn't go straight into an off road section. It was a good 10 or 15 miles of just gravel first, just to help
Okay.
spread anyone out, or if anyone caught up, you go ahead and pass already.
Nice.
I don't think we got into a traffic jam until we started going down Old Fincastle Road. Honestly,
Okay.
so that's when we started getting it jammed up.
Okay. What were the first few miles like? I know in the last one I did, I don't know if it was nerves or what. The last event that I did, which was Hinton, I felt extremely nervous for whatever reason. And driving my truck felt like learning to walk when you're drunk or something for the first couple minutes. It just was like no input was working the way that I felt like I wanted it to. Did you guys feel that way, or were you clear mind, good to go?
I was ready to go, and come out of Boonville and made that left, there was already a side by side on the side of the road broke.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to him. And then a mile up the road, I found the Bronco Raptor in a ditch. So that stopped us for probably about 2 or 3 minutes. And then once we got past that, it was all clear till like Ross said, till we hit Fincastle.
Yeah, so I saw a picture actually of the Bronco Raptor in a ditch. And obviously, like I never want to see somebody wreck or break. But my gosh, is it funny because there's someone dressed up as Mario just
Mario
standing on the
Luigi.
side, on the side of the road staring at this raptor in a ditch.
Yeah.
It was like a video game. Yeah.
I'll find that video and I'll throw it up for the show because my goodness, was that funny. But now, did he actually break or was he just stuck?
I heard that he broke the knuckle or the hub or
man.
something. So
Wolf.
we never saw him again after that. I don't
Yeah,
think
we
he
never
did
saw him. He
anything
probably
so
was the
much
first
to
guy
drag.
out.
You
Yeah.
gotta remember that's Ross and I started 20. He started somewhere between Patrick and I, and Patrick was 25.
Yeah, they stuck him in between us. They stuck him in between us, and I think the Frontier that was on 40s.
Yeah.
What-
Wow, that's crazy. I really expected that one to perform very well. So that stinks that he kissed a ditch that early on. Was it what were the conditions like? I know that the previous week when CAMO was down there, we got monsooned on, but did it dry out or was it pretty muddy?
Half and half.
Yeah.
The gravel roads were dusty, but once you got under the trees, some of the less used trails, I'd say, still had their mud and their water running across them. So that helped out with that. Not
Yeah.
as bad as Hinton. Nothing
Yeah,
will
that
ever
was-
be as bad as Hinton.
That was really crazy. That felt like I've never driven a truck in the desert, driven a motorcycle out west. But that's about what I imagined driving a truck in the desert would be like. That was crazy in Hinton.
Yeah, the course was actually a good mix of gravel, asphalt, mud, rocks. There was surprisingly less asphalt than I expected compared to the previous year in Kentucky. So I think they did a good job mixing it up a little bit and getting us off road. And the gravel roads, were there they were dusty, but they weren't entirely too bad, just if you stayed your distance. But it was a good mix of roads this year.
That's nice. Did you
There's
guys
a-
notice the
Hang
trails
on.
getting torn up much from other vehicles, or since they're pretty well traveled, did they stay not as rutted up?
I don't notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were rutted up as much as they could have been. They were the same as last year in some of the mud. I mean, you were going through mud swimming pools at some point, and it's hard to rut a swimming pool that's already 2 feet deep and 30 feet wide.
How did the moto guys do in mud that was that deep?
I think they were able, honestly, to go around most of it.
Yeah. I think they went through the woods. You saw some paths around the woods and things. I know we got into the third lap and there were some bikers in front of us that we passed, and this is third lap, and they wanted to watch us go through the water to see how deep it was at some point because they were concerned going through some deep sections.
Yeah.
Which the water was deep.
It was the deepest the Broncos gone, which,
Really?
yeah. I mean, I know we've
Wow.
gone through some good water crossings.
What kind of strategy did you guys have coming into? Were you more of see what it throws at you? What was prep like as far as mapping and routing and fuel? Was that as important, or did you just kind of send it?
Well, as far as map goes, I did review it and I color coded the different laps and made sure they're all separate so that I didn't have all three maps because they crossed each other right around the beginning and end. So if I hadn't done that, I would have not known where to start second lap or start third lap. So I made sure that before we started that they were labeled well.
What was the fuel situation like?
Well, I screwed that up by not bringing an extra tank, but luckily Patrick had a few extra, because after the first lap, I had, at least on my computer, maybe 50 miles left, and we weren't sure where the next gas stop was, so I kind of got a little like, can we put a couple gallons in there? And we ended up actually, I probably could have made it to the gas station without the extra fuel, but I would have been on fumes.
Yeah.
Sure, your
So
fuel pump. Thank you.
I blame that on Aaron because he drove the first lap, so he was pushing the
that's
pedal
me.
to the metal the whole way. So
I'm convinced. I haven't looked at the specifications, but I'm convinced the 2-door has a smaller fuel tank than the 4-door.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And that may be where our calculations are off. We haven't got used to it yet.
Yeah.
So were you guys more conservative, or were you more in a full send mentality for this one?
For me, we were in a complete mode. We just wanted to finish it.
Yeah,
So if
agreed.
someone flew up behind us, we just let them pass or whatever. Just we were cruising, constant pace. We just wanted to finish.
Yeah. I think, on asphalt, we pushed, we followed the rules. We went the speed limit. I think, we tried to follow that. Gravel, I think we pushed it, a little bit, but with the dust, with a little bit of traffic. But it's like, I don't think we were, like all the way out, but, it was about finishing it rather than, killing the trucks. And, my history, I've already killed one of these on a 24. So I really didn't want to kill a second one.
yeah.
But yeah, but it took all the hits. It took all the things. I mean, Patrick and I and Aaron, I mean, we all seem to work together, whatever we're driving with each other, following each other. And if somebody misses a turn, the other person gets in front and keeps going. So what is it called? Yeah, zip, whatever.
Back and forth.
Yeah. So
No, that's cool. And it probably, at least I know for me, especially come evening time when you're pretty much by yourself, that feeling of like, wow, I am super alone. So not
Yeah.
having that probably feels pretty good.
That very first 24-hour I did, I swear all night long, Derek and I were by ourselves. I never saw anyone for probably 6 hours, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, in last
Yeah.
Kentucky, Aaron and I, we didn't see anybody from 2:00 in the morning until noon, I think, at one point. And, we were coming out of the woods and it was like daylight. And it was like, where's everybody at?
Well, it was
So-
like that the first time we did Hinton when we were cruising together. Once it got dark, we didn't see anybody forever
Yeah.
until we finished, I don't think.
So tell me a little bit about the dynamic of being a co-driver. I think of this as like almost like giving my wife to somebody. I really struggle with it. I struggle with the idea of doing that. So like as a co-driver, what exactly is it like driving someone else's bank's car?
It's you
You're talking about my wife now.
look, it's you want to do the best you can, but at the same time, you know that it's not your car, and you can't just slam it onto a rock and try to pop it over, which the truck probably could do, but in my mind, it's not mine.
Yeah.
So
Which he did try to slam it into rocks multiple times.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
did.
Into a rock. He
Yeah.
high centered it on that one big
that
ledge.
it high centers very easily. By the way,
I heard there was a turtle event. Who wants to talk about the turtle event?
But yeah, we all turtled. So
yeah, I
Yeah.
turtled at least twice
yeah,
in that Bronco.
it
There was-
turtles a lot.
There was one rock I went up and it was doing just fine, and the left slider would hit the rock and it would turn me to the left.
Now, that being said, if this was a normal camo event and that would have happened, I would have had Alex on one bumper side and Aaron on the other bumper side, bouncing up and down to unturtle it. But you don't have that kind of camo crew with you, so we just had to figure it out ourselves.
You just winch and go on about your day. There comes a point where you do have to just say it's time to winch in these type of events,
Oh yeah.
because you're not there all
Yeah.
day. You don't have the crew with you, and that's one thing you have to be mindful of is
Yeah, we got pissed people were not winching. They were struggling getting up hills and we're causing traffic jams and we expected to winch. So get
Yeah.
get out of our way, guys. Get,
Yeah.
move this thing. So,
Well, my opinion on that is that you guys are smart for it, because I would wager a lot of those people that you were thinking that about probably DNF'd because of a mechanical issue.
exactly.
And there's no
Yes.
point in sitting there hopping and bouncing and banging. And if you're not making it, pull line, save your truck, get out of the way. There's
Yeah.
2 guarantees if you winch. You're not going to break anything and you're going to get out. So just pull line.
And then going back to co-driving is it's kind of passive a lot of the times. It's more of looking at the map and saying you got a right turn coming up, or you're on the road. Say, hey, there's left right switchbacks coming up. Probably need to slow down a little bit. Just giving directions, especially with the speed. We both had to remind each other, hey, 55.
Yeah.
Once you get on the hard ball, hey, remember 55.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. What did you guys think of that?
I enjoyed it. I think it's good for the overall event.
Yep. No, I'm fully on board with that, because I think any nut between the seat and steering wheel can speed on pavement, but when you're restricted, it's gonna isolate who can actually drive when you're in the woods.
It wasn't
Yes.
crazy restrictions either. It was if you were max speed was 60 miles an hour without taking a penalty. If you went 61 to 64, it was 15
Yeah,
like
10,
15 minute
15 minute
penalty,
penalty, something.
10 to
Yeah.
15-minute penalty. If you went 65 to 69, it was like a 20 or 30-minute penalty. If you went 70 at all, you were immediately disqualified.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I think that's
None.
totally fair. I think that's going to isolate incidents that could possibly occur in populated areas, because the only time you're going to hit speeds like that are times you shouldn't be going that fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which, if
You
you looked
know.
at the final results, the second place moto was penalized and lost the rally, most efficient
Mhm.
rally, because he sped. So
Yeah.
he lost it for going probably 5 miles per hour over, right?
Yeah, I think that was a great step. Back roads, I think that was the right thing to do. And actually, I have not talked to anybody that did not like it. I think everyone is in agreement that nobody is proving that they're like the most badass driver if they can speed through a neighborhood.
Yeah. What I want to do is I need to figure out the math, and I haven't had time, is, you know, we've got all our rates. We know how fast we went. And I think when we were on asphalt, we were going the speed limit up to 55. I mean, we pushed it. We were going what it was going. So if we're going to get done faster next time, how do you do it? Okay, well, we need to work on the gravel or the mud or that. And I'm like, and maybe we were being a little more conservative in the gravel sections. Maybe we were being a little, but even on the gravel sections, you're going past people's homes. You're going, trailers and schools and all this kind of stuff on gravel, whatever it is. So it's, you want to be, nice to the neighbors. We made it under the allotment. We had our credits, whatever, but it's like, how do you do it better? And people were cruising up those hills, right? And I think we
Yeah.
were just probably a little more conservative because we wanted to finish. We wanted to prove to ourselves we finished, and we did.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Now, obviously, unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I saw a lot of carnage from the comfort of my couch. So did
Yeah.
anything really stick out to you?
The side-by-side on fire picture was amazing. I mean, the fact that
Yeah.
one burnt to the ground and the fire department got there in the middle of forest. I mean, when we saw that, we were all like, this is crazy. What are we doing?
Yeah, and is that Beattyville fire? Whatever VFD that was, by the way, kudos, because
Oh, yeah.
everyone that I spoke to said unbelievable response time for as far away as that was, and to get there and get that taken care of. Fortunately, thank goodness, we had a rain a week ago. It didn't spread anywhere. It sounds like a lot of people had fire extinguishers, so everybody did the right thing, and we just got lucky that we didn't lose the woods to that.
Yeah.
Do you know how it caught? Just went up, or was there a fuel issue?
I know it was a side by side with temp tags on it. I know that because if you look at the picture, the temp tags didn't burn up.
Yeah, they're still there.
Ouch.
Yeah.
There was actually another vehicle fire as well, but it was not a rally participant. It was a local that was on the trail
Yeah.
with
Wow.
rally, and his car caught on fire as well and blocked the road.
Wow.
I think it was somewhere in lap 3 it happened.
Yeah, they had to
Wow.
detour around. But it did seem, we saw some carnage, but it just seemed like every time you get a signal on Signal, the whatever messaging app they were using, it was like somebody else is out.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like people were falling like flies.
My most favorite carnage, and I think like this is so badass. So these guys finished, and I'm not sure what Jeep it was, but it was a Jeep, solid front axle. They broke a whole ass tube and welded it on the trail,
Really?
and then finished.
They also had their shop welding truck following them, so that helped.
That was their sponsor, right? They all
Yeah.
work for the welding shop.
Yeah, they all worked for the welding shop, so they knew what they were.
Well-
Yeah, I suppose money and resources help
it wa-
there. However,
It wasn't like sticking it back together with a battery hooked up to your leads.
well, all right, that makes it slightly less cool, but that's still freaking sweet.
Yeah.
I
it was
mean,
cool.
the picture that I saw looked really cool. And to literally break a tube in the middle of the woods and have the means to fix it, that's pretty sweet. I would like to get to a point, and I think we're probably close, where our people are probably about there, where that might become a reality.
Have a
So
welding
see.
truck.
I thought last weekend I was pulling out stick welder, putting
Yeah.
Alex's stuff back together.
So, I'm not mechanically inclined, but one of the crazy carnage, before we get to the sandstone steps, there was a side-by-side off to the road, and they've got whatever piece of axle, whatever, and a blowtorch, and they're torching something, and they're pounding it on the rock. I
Yeah,
assume
they
they
had
try to
to-
deform
They're
it back
trying to get the bearing back on the axle because I think that
Yeah.
style
They had
side
to
by
change out the
side.
actual shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
The
changed
wheel
out the whole
bearing
axle.
is
So
on
the
the
wheel bearing fell off.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
I love
That's
that
awesome.
stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
rolled
love
up
that.
and they were like, "Hey, you got a pry bar?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Hey, you got a hammer?" I'm like, "Here's my little mini sledge."
Ugga, me
Yeah,
fix
basically,
NM.
2 hits and they had it apart and they're like, "Thank you so much."
That's awesome, man. I love Wood's resourcefulness. I think you sent me a video the other day, Aaron, of a ratchet strap for clutch discs if you burn your clutch up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Now I want to get back. I want to hear what their twos of co-driving their own vehicle. I want to hear their take
driving
on
my
that.
own vehicle.
Yeah, especially,
Yeah.
the own blood.
So Derek is a good driver, okay? He just doesn't have a lot of off-road experience, and the only other time he's driven my car was last year at Hinton. So for one, he did not even remember how to put it in four-wheel drive. So he basically had to relearn how to drive the car off-road on the fly.
That's
And
good.
he did a really
Easy
good,
place to do it.
yeah, super easy. Easiest trails ever.
Mm-hmm.
But he did a good job, and he's got an eye for line placement, and he can feel where his tires are and what's going on. So I didn't even really have to say much to him after like the first 15, 20 minutes of, hey, remember, put it in neutral to put it in four low.
Yeah.
And then riding passenger is nice because you get a break, because the Montero, it wears you out. It's not a good car to drive for a long time, especially in four-wheel drive, because it's got the lunchbox locker in the front, so the front end's constantly locked together, and your shoulders are wore out by the time you drive 10 hours, with the front end locked together.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get a break, and then just watching navigation and handing drinks, pepperoni rolls, those kind of things.
Yeah. What did everyone do for food?
I hardly
Well,
ate the whole time or drink.
Well, my
No.
wonderful wife Gloria made about 20 homemade pepperoni rolls to send with us, and
Nice.
another probably 15 breakfast burritos to send with us.
Dang.
So, and I strapped down my fridge and my power bank in the back the best I could, so to keep everything nice and cold. And then we ate on those and snacks from the gas station. That was about it.
Dang,
Yeah.
you got luxury.
Well, I went into Hinton with no plan for food, and I came out dead because the only thing I ate was a bag of goldfish 24 hours. So I wasn't doing that again.
I think Ross witnessed me raid the gas station before Hinton.
Yeah, exactly. I think I had a bag of chips at one gas station, but I think Aaron and I really didn't eat a lot. I think we had chips, or
Yeah.
you had Cheez-Its for a second,
Yep.
but it was iced tea or Gatorade or something to keep us a little hydrated. But yeah. So
As long as you don't forget your iced tea wedged between the winch and the front bumper.
yes. So don't leave it on your front bumper.
Ross, did you have to use your special bag at all?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
That's good.
No.
Aaron must be a smooth driver.
Yeah, I think the realization is we let Aaron drive during the day. So Aaron started the first lap, which the previous weekend the CAMO group had gone on a little bit of the first loop, or at least we had attempted. So I'm like, hey, I just did this last week. So Aaron started the first loop. Got to do Fincastle, got to do some great trails, and I felt good. No barf bags, no nothing. And then I took over at lap 2 and took it home. So it was
that's
good.
Awesome.
I think that's what we figured out now. Daytime.
Cool. Did you guys come across anything that you thought was unexpected or harder than you did expect?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been to Kentucky twice, once for the CAMO crew, once by myself. Actually, twice with CAMO now. We were just in the easy part of Kentucky. But, I've watched pretty much every online video there is to watch for those trails in Kentucky, and it was about what I expected. I was really hoping to make it up the rock step on Sinking Creek without winching, but I probably could have if I wanted to sit there and try a few more times, but we had people behind us, so I just hit the winch and got over it.
I'll tell you, I've done that obstacle once, and it looked like, I'm assuming because of all the vehicles that had been through, it looked like a lot of dirt had got brought up on those rocks.
Oh, it was wet.
Yeah.
It was wet. It was really
like,
wet.
and where people were just sitting there spinning, they rutted it out pretty good too.
Yeah, because if I recall right, when I did it, I went like far right and diagonal to the left. But when I was watching the video of you guys, it almost looked like there was a hole.
Well, there
and
is.
actually, I
There
think
was.
you
There's
hit
like
your
a
diff
there's
in
like a
there.
V hole right in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it looked tough.
If your tire got caught in that, it was
Yeah.
done.
And I don't know
Yeah.
where the Green Gladiator was broke at the top of that hill. So I don't know if he broke down going up that hill or it was prior, but he was dead at the top of that hill.
Yeah. I was following him on our little thing, and I saw he was sitting there for a while. And I think when he finally got service, that's when his message went out. But he lost his transfer case, among other things. He took a lot of damage. I think bent axle to brakes, transfer case. It was not an easy day for the Gladiator.
Yeah. That was definitely probably the most intense area. I mean, honestly, by the time he got to laps 2 and 3, it was mostly mud. I mean, mud was the challenge. And I have to say, we did that same section last year in the first part of the 24, and it was mapped much better this year. And the great thing about these guys is I think both Patrick and Aaron actually got out and literally walked the path with the GPS, and Derek and I followed to make sure we were on the right trail, because there are literally, a dozen different directions that you could take, right, left, bypass, and they walked it and really stayed close to the GPS so we would stay on the right trail and not get
I
underwater.
realized once we got into that section from last year how much trouble Ross and I had in that section, because it's dark, you can't see through the woods, and if you take the wrong line, it's just a mud hole.
Yeah.
And unless you're on 40s or a side by side, there's a lot of those holes you're not making out of.
Oh yeah.
Just period.
No, I know.
We took the wrong line when we first got in there, because we were leading. Derek was driving. We were in front, and we didn't realize it. We're just like, oh, it looks like it goes this way, so let's go this way. And then as soon as we started going, Aaron was like, don't go that way, and it was too late.
Yeah, Kentucky gumbo does not mess around. When it's wet, it is so slick. It doesn't clear well from treads at all. It's like glue, but it slides on itself. And then when it dries out, it's concrete. And that makes it that much worse. You'll come home, and I mean, I'm sure you guys know, I was cleaning these things up.
Yeah. I didn't realize with the manual, I was into the mud and how slippery the mud was on the clutch. And I'm like, I got to stop. I got to drive my boots out. So it was bad.
So you guys, you made it through the first 2 laps. Was it 3 laps or 4?
Just
3.
3. So what was that third lap like? I'm sure it was dark the whole time. You're coming into the finish. Patrick, you had a little bit of an issue. What was it that finally took out the Montero?
Basically, a brake pad didn't want to be a brake pad anymore.
Yeah.
Which ended up being the caliper pin was just stuck. So it prematurely wore and just torched it. Torched the pad, and it just gouged the rotor to the point where I didn't want to keep going and risk breaking anything more severely.
Yeah, not worth.
The pad actually flew out of there, and then got the caliper into the rotor, or pushed the piston out, and then lose all your brake fluid. It just didn't seem worth it.
Yeah, need one of those frame rail vice grips, like from the original. Was it Mothman event with that Jeep that we plugged his line off? Did you think about that, or were you over it at that time?
Well, I mean, I actually had 2 sets of pinch pliers in my tool bag specifically for a brake scenario like that. But I don't know. I was just tired, and I think we were ready to be done.
Yeah.
And
it was what, 3 a.m.?
Yeah, it was. No, it was past 4. It was like 4:30 in the morning.
4:30.
Yeah. So we were on 19 and a half hours going, and we just.
It was crushing leaving them behind that far into it. We're sitting there, and it was like, we got to finish. But it was, on the other hand, I mean, it was crushing leaving these guys, because we had been with them for the whole second lap and third lap. So it was terrible.
Ross and Aaron, you guys were cutting it close on lap 3. What was that like, racing the clock?
Yeah, Aaron had his maps and his calculator and everything, was like pushing. And, we were given, I think, bad information at lap 2 when we finished lap 2, and they said, oh, people are finishing lap 3 in this amount of time. There's no way they were finishing lap 3 in 5 hours. I mean, maybe they were, but
not
it was crazy.
And it was light for us, so it would have been dark the whole time in lap 3 for them. So I don't know
Yeah.
how they were doing it in 5 hours.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was a great. Actually, that lap was actually a really good lap. It had lots of good water crossings. There was the creek kind of going through. It had some
Mhm.
mud, some pits. It had a little bit of asphalt, and it, of course, the one thing that the 24 Hours of Appalachia always has is you think you're almost done, right? It's like you see Boonville. It's like, hey, we're like, there's Boonville right there. We're gonna make it home, and then it takes you off the road into a crazy last section, and we followed a creek. 2 miles up a hill?
Mhm.
It was great, but it's like it's always like that. You think you're done, but you're never done.
Yeah.
There's always something, that throws something into it.
Now, before we move on, tell me about this hero lap because I haven't seen any video from it. I haven't seen any full sizes.
I don't know. It was fun. It was just it looked like a figure 8, but it was not a figure 8.
It was hourglass.
It should have been a figure 8 if you ask me. But,
Yeah.
and I messed up on it because I didn't see on the sign. Apparently, there was a little. Ross saw it, but I didn't see it. It just said turn right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very large.
Okay.
And when you're traveling at a high rate of speed, I'm not looking at the side of the sign to see if there's a sign. I'm looking at the gate so I don't hit.
Yeah,
I guess.
there were gates and hay bales and everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, he made both of us made great time. Patrick and Aaron made great time. We weren't the last, but full sizes were behind us. So it was fun. I think it'd be fun to do it again and figure it out.
Yeah. I want to know, I'm looking at the times. The fastest full size was a giant Ford F-250. So did anyone see him or, I mean, how did that happen? Because, I mean, I know that thing is a beast, it's all cut up and I think it might be back half, but surely not as agile. Was the driver just a madman?
Well, Travis says it has 500 horsepower, so
Yeah, that thing is rowdy, but that's crazy. I was looking through that, and he had the best time. I thought that was
He's
pretty
helped
cool.
a lot off road also.
Yeah, definitely. So I know 10 full size vehicles finished, but before we move on to that, I want to talk about the attrition rate moving through the laps, and I'm just going to talk about full size here. So I have some stats. 8 full size vehicles qualified and were registered for this event. So for those of you that didn't realize, this event wasn't just for like, oh, I think I'm going to try 24-hour rallying. You had to qualify for this. You had to have some sort of level of proficiency and a past in doing these events, a finish within the top 10 in order to qualify. So that right there eliminates, 100 people, right? So now we have 48 registered online. Only 37 actually showed up at the event. So there was 11 scaredy cats. Now, after lap 1, full-size trucks dropped down to 26. So, and not even after lap 1, actually. Only 26 actually completed lap 1. So that right there eliminates half the field. Half the field of the people that qualify for this rally, we'll call it circuit, were out. The best of the best were out at lap 1. Lap 2, we are down to 20, and we lost another 10 to the finish. So, I don't want anybody to look at the times and be like, oh, I mean, Ross and Aaron, they finished in 23. Yeah, they did. And you know what? They were within the top 10 of the best rally participants in Appalachia, right? I mean, you could say all you want, but you weren't there. I wasn't there. I didn't partake. Anybody that's has words about it, show up, put up, because they finished. And I think that's pretty special. And I think that's something you guys should seriously be proud of. And with 10 finishing, what do you attribute your ability to finish to? And the people that didn't finish or might want to do these rallies, what can they do to improve their chances of success?
Navigation. First and foremost, navigation and preparation of your vehicle. Not just the outside, but the inside also. Have your gear staged where you need it to when you do have to recover. Make sure you're prepped and consistency. It's honestly just about consistency.
Know where you're going, know how to, what to do when you get into problems, because you're going to run into something, and I think having a solution, if it's a winch solution, if it's a, spotting solution, I mean, you didn't see a lot of people getting out of their trucks and spotting through places because either traffic or whatever, but that could help people not hitting and not breaking things. I don't know, but I think understanding that and having good teams, having people who know how to, work together and solve problems, I think is important.
Yeah. And I think, this is one of my favorite things because, Aaron and I preach this a lot, but keep it simple. Your rig essentially off the showroom floor, because that truck came as there's an option with 35s from the factory. So for all intents and purposes, that's a factory truck. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you have if you don't have the driving skill, right? Or you add so much shit to your vehicle that you add a million different failure points. And next thing you know, you lose ignition. You might be on 44s and have 600 horsepower. But if the truck doesn't run, you can't win,
Yeah.
I think the Montero is a very good example of that. I paid $2,500 for it. It has a 2-inch lift, 33-inch GT radial all-terrain tires, and I made it further than 90% of the competitors.
Yeah. And
So,
and without a brake failure, you'd have finished
I
the same
would've
time
finished.
Ross did.
I would have finished right behind him. Yep.
He would have been ahead
Absolutely.
of us because he started behind us.
Yep. I would have had a faster time than they would have.
Yeah.
I would have had to be 5 minutes in front of him before it. But yeah, it's when you're at that starting line and you see some of these trucks that are just built, it is intimidating. I don't know, Montero has the 32s or 33s or, and, 35s here, but you see these things that are just seem like they're built to pieces and they have the axles. And I'm like, oh, that guy's going to fly. And, you see the Cherokees and the Jeeps and, the Frontiers or whatever. And you're like, okay, yeah, it's like, we're just going to be consistent. But you look at what finished, I don't think I saw another, Colorado or Tacoma on the list that even finished, right? They were all Jeeps except for in the Frontier and then the Big Dodge Ram finished. Those guys were intense. They were
Wow. That Tacoma that was with us most of the time, he turned around right as we were leaving for lap 3 because he blew a wheel cylinder in the back.
Oh, okay.
So he would have made it also.
We ran into a Gladiator on loop 3 who was going the wrong way, and he lost all track of where he was, not only because he was the wrong way, but getting through the river and getting through the streams. He was so off course that he didn't finish. I don't know what happened to him. We never saw him.
There was that orange, I don't know the nomenclature for it, but it's that orange Cherokee, Grand Cherokee.
Oh,
that was like 39s or 40s, had huge tires on it. And we passed him on the side of the trail because his cooling fan quit working and that poor old 4-liter overheated.
Well, I don't know what happened to Julio, but we passed him at least twice. And he was in this hood, he was having problems with something.
Yeah, that poor truck, I feel like I gave him the Madden curse because I was actually, I was betting that he was going to be the winner. I don't know if you've talked to Julio much. He and his wife were badass. Like, she said she wore a race cap for the last event. I mean, that's badass. I truly thought that they were going to take it, but that truck unfortunately plagued him. I think he had ignition issues, shock issues, and then ultimately, I think he grenaded it. I think it blew up.
Yeah. At the starting line, it really seemed like the 3 competitors were going to be him, the orange Cherokee, just on big wheels, and then the green, if you will, Frontier, right?
Yeah.
And I think those 3 really seemed, and they powered through, and only one of them made it, but yeah, it is intimidating, but I think, probably push it, we're a conservative bunch a little bit, but, it's like in 10 years when the Broncos 10 years older, maybe I'll be less conservative, right? When it's still running.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I felt that way in Hinton looking around and there's like tube chassis Jeeps and 392 builds. And it's like, man, there's some really serious stuff here. I felt like I was running for my life, and then you come to the end and you realize a lot of those builds, they're really great for like 2 hours, but then the gremlins come out,
Yeah.
It's not easy building race trucks as evident from the Tundra incident.
Well, the guy who started in front of us had a red Jeep. He did really well at Hinton. Chris, I think was his name. And I don't know what happened to him, but he got out fairly fast.
No, it's Stevens is who that
Steve,
is.
okay. Yeah, but I thought he'd be in the mix, just because he'd been used to it and finished well. But yeah, so it was shocking that only 10 trucks finished. So, and the fact that we were one, we're still riding high.
Did CAMO very proud,
Yeah.
very proud. I felt very confident you guys were going to finish, but about halfway through the day, I was watching some live streams and I'm thinking, man, this is going to be tough. So I'm very excited that you guys finished that. Anything else to add? Any final thoughts on the rally?
No, it was a very well put together event. The route was well put together. I will say though, it does seem they put their times up as if they're in side by sides, because that's what they do. They pre-run them in side by sides.
Yeah.
So the times for full size are a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in retrospect, if there's any, like planning, if there's any feedback, he runs them in side by sides and he doesn't account for, you do have to stop. I mean, unless you really have that fuel tank capacity thing and, just to stretch or just to do something. I mean, we had less than 2 hours of stoppage, and that was a combination of probably 2 gas stops, and we got behind a party of side-by-sides at some point. And then we also got the guy who blocked the road who was arrested eventually. So, we had a few, 10, 15-minute stops here and there. But, you don't account for that. And you can't. So, I think, was it too long? No, it was perfect. 2 years, we want to do it again, maybe push ourselves, right? Get it finished faster. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And honestly, those variables, they really suck when they happen to you. But it's kind of nice when they do happen if it's not to you,
Yeah, like
I know.
if
guys
you
that
look
were in
at
the lead, they got stuck by that train for an hour.
Oh,
yeah, there was a train parked on the tracks for an hour. They had to all detour around it eventually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, if you watch Baja, you could be winning one moment and the next moment you just hit a cow at 105 miles an hour. That's it. That's your day. You're done. There's
Patrick almost hit a
$200,000.
bobcat.
I did almost hit a bobcat.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we killed a skunk.
Yeah, we got a skunk.
Nice.
Smell it the
Yeah.
whole rest of the way.
Oh, it smelled so bad. So it was a good weekend, fun. I got to ride it with 3 brothers who are literally brothers, and I wish I was their real brother sometimes. So because they're great, and I'm blessed that we met them in CAMO, and I trust one of them. Well, actually, 2 of them did drive my truck this weekend, but they're just for fun. I trust them. I can't have better drivers that I trust, and they're mechanics. If Aaron breaks it, he's gonna fix it.
That's true. You do
Yeah.
have 2 literal professional mechanics
with me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but thank you
That's-
guys. It was great.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you guys so much. I mean, number one, just doing it and participating in it. And, something we didn't touch on is that it is all for a good cause. We're donating to Backroads of Appalachia, which is then donating to the causes and the beneficiaries.
Yeah, one of them was the Buckhorn House in Kentucky, which helps a lot of different people through rehab and kids having problems. And it was the woman who runs it was there. It sounded like a great thing. So it was nice. And they raised a lot of money for that. And even the local cheerleaders and fire departments. So it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can't thank Backroads and Jed and everyone that helps out to put these on, because it is so fun. And if you haven't done one, man, once you do one, it's all you think about. You'll be looking at your truck and you're like, oh, I guess I could do X, Y, and Z to get ready for that next rally. And it's addictive, man. I love them so much because I get to just pretend for 24 hours that it's real,
You've made it in life. You're a racer.
Yeah, it's so fun. And I appreciate the volunteers. I mean, especially the recovery guys on this one that were out in the woods, knee deep in mud, fixing trucks, pulling trucks out of the mud, towing stuff on their own dime with their own equipment, doing stuff that's hard just to help people out that are out there doing something for a good cause and for fun. And that's really cool.
Everybody's plans for the next rally. Which ones you guys are going to hit up?
Ooh.
Because we got the schedule for next year.
So, personally, I don't know. I'm at war because I actually really do want to volunteer for some of the easier ones, but I don't want to not get into Kentucky. So I have to decide. But I do want to volunteer for the 26th season.
Yeah. I really would like to finish a Mothman. So, and it's going the correct way this year. So,
Yeah.
so I'd really like to do that. And I can't do March in Ohio. So you guys should come to Ohio, but I won't see you there. But then, yeah, I'd volunteer for Hinton just because it's kind of got the hub. It feels good.
Yeah, I'm on track to. I'm probably on track to volunteer this year. However, I am looking at the 1,000 that is this
Yeah.
year, or 26.
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Ohio. I want to hit that and see if I can take that on. I know it was pretty rough last year with all the rain, so
It's
see if
Ohio.
I can do that because I've completed hitting twice, so I'm not too worried about that one. But then hopefully get another chance at Kentucky.
Well, technically, Ohio is the only one I have not finished.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think I say this now, but we'll see. But I do think I'm probably gonna back it down moving forward.
You back it down?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say I wasn't reckless in Hinton, but there was definitely times on trails that I was like not super nice to the truck, and it survived. I don't really have any maintenance to do after the fact, but like you can only do that so many times, and I like the truck, and I don't have the cash to just go buy another one, so I might just go a little bit easier moving forward, which is why I do want to lean into the volunteer side because I'd love to run recovery. I mean, I get my rocks off going into the woods and pulling out stuck stuff. So
Yeah, agreed.
yeah. What about you, Aaron? What are you thinking?
I'm probably running Hinton is my thoughts because it's a hub. It'll
Yeah.
make accommodations a little easier. I'm not carrying camping stuff, and it's warm.
It is
Oh,
nice
but you love cold weather, Aaron.
I'm not a cold weather fan. I'm good. I would like to finish Mothman, but I also don't want to break down in those areas that we saw snow. It could be a bad situation, and I
for
I
sure.
think I want to avoid the cold. I'm gonna sit
I'm
out.
kind of excited. I hope that the town of Point Pleasant does something cool in town again with Main Street. It sounds like they may.
Yeah, that was really cool last year.
That made it feel exceptionally real, actually.
Yeah.
The problem is it's the end this year. So you come in, there's such a long lag of people coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if
True.
there's like some crazy snowstorm and like no one finishes and they bring in,
Yeah.
80 tons of
Dirt.
dirt and stone and no one hits it. But I love the people Yoakums and the guys from Point Pleasant. I forget their name, but the downtown at Point Pleasant, they're all really cool.
I want to know, Ross, what do you prefer now, the automatic or the manual?
I like the manual. I mean, it's great. I mean, can I get unstuck better with the manual? I don't know. I got stuck just as bad with the automatic going through the gears. I did not smell clutch at some stupid spots. Aaron, did you smell clutch? I don't think we burned out the clutch at all.
No.
Yeah, but I mean,
My main issue with it is when you're in gear, the engine sounds like it's revving higher than it actually is.
yeah,
So you want to change up, and then you're in the wrong gear.
yeah. It always seems like you're higher than you're lower. And that stalled both of us out a couple times.
But then you look at the RPM gauge and you're only doing 1,500, $2,000, but it sounds like it's revving to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that 4-cylinder, who knows, turbo, who knows what it is. But yeah, I do like the manual. So
once you get it in the right gear, it just sails.
Going up the crawl, putting the crawl gear in and going up the hills. I mean, you just let it go and it you don't have to do anything except for steer.
Cool. I wanted to ask about that. Did you use the special 7th gear, negative 1st gear?
Yeah, we used crawl. I think a few times. It's super low in 4 low. Personally, I don't love it in 4 low. But I think in 4 high, it's perfect for going up, just any kind of, I think that's what you use at Fincastle. I don't think we put it in
I just put it in crawl and I just kept it steady throttle and just climbed up through the rocks.
Yeah. That is kind of a little cheat code there to not have to come in and out of high and low range in the transfer case. You have enough gearing coming out of the trans that
exactly. You're really just going from crawl to 1, and that's kind of your low to high almost.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's cool. That's one. Cool. That's one mode that I do think is awesome, and I'd like to field one because I've never driven one to see what that reduction looks like.
Well,
in
next time we can trade, and I can drive
Yeah,
Frontier for a couple laps.
there you go.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it was good. I mean, we used, it has front and rear lockers. We use that, and the sway bar disconnect. We use that. I mean, you could definitely feel the sway bar when it disconnects, especially on pressure. Push the button, it just kind of falls like a little cloud into whatever it's doing.
Yeah, Ford really did their homework on that sway bar disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
I don't think I even used your modes hardly at all. I
Yeah,
kept it in normal.
yeah. It's got all those goat modes, and all the goat modes do is really just change your throttle. And if you had an automatic, they change your shifting patterns, but they also control your steering a little bit, tighter or looser. But yeah, we really didn't use a lot of the goat modes. We just kind of just played with the at 4 low and 4 high.
Nice.
Which is having a co-driver is easy because either one of us could reach up and press it without having come off the throttle or trying to think about it.
Yeah,
I'd just reach up, I'd hit the locker if he was starting to slip or something. Or...
That's cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. And it works in 2-wheel drive too.
Is it overhead, the locker control?
On the dash.
On the dash, yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Is there anything you're going to do to the Bronco for the next one?
I don't know. I mean, Mothman, you got the snow, and it's got good tires with the 35s. I don't know if I do anything differently. So I have to put my license plate back on.
Yeah, rear bumper.
Yeah,
Needs a rear bumper.
again.
Yeah.
What tires are you running? They
Yeah.
territories?
I am wearing 35 territories, Goodyear territories.
Yeah, I like them.
315 17.
I do have one last thing. Interior, how you pack and secure your stuff. Toward the end, it got bad for both Patrick and the
I know.
Bronco.
I got to tie stuff down. Yeah. It just,
Yeah. Even Patrick had stuff tied down, and it still came loose.
yeah. I think I got to get a
My
netting.
sleeping
something.
platform was literally like jumping up in the air through the big bumps.
Yeah. Yeah. Tie downs are, yeah. So that's probably, figure tie down how to do all that stuff.
But that's stuff you don't normally worry about on a trip we do. You don't have those, you're 20 hours into it and everything's been shaken loose.
Yeah. My tailgate table that I installed actually had 2 screws that completely came loose after 24 hours. So I obviously did not tighten 2 screws tight enough on my tailgate cannon. So there was some rattling. I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh,
Yeah, imagine that.
little Loctite action, maybe.
Yes, it's going to Loctite.
Cool. You guys want to wrap?
I think so.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Back Bros. Thank you to the volunteers. Until next time, shiny side up, muddy side down. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Cool.
Well, again, thanks guys for coming on. Nick and I decided we were going to do some Q&A stuff now. I think we're going to do it every episode. So we're going to dive into that.
Your lack of pinstripes don't lie, and neither do we. Where your feelings need skid plates, this is the CAMO Convoy. Q&A.
Matt actually asked us, have you ever encountered any wildlife predators while out on a trip? So
I like that.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and take yours?
Yeah, sure. I think the 2 biggest predators I've come across have been in Green Ridge on separate trips. I have followed a bear and a bobcat, giant bobcat, down the road. But as far as like camp intrusions or anything, really haven't had anything come up on us.
Yeah, same here. I've never had a predator be an issue, but I have seen some pretty cool ones. We've seen bear a couple times. When we were in Colorado, Alex and Matt actually saw a mountain lion, so that was really cool.
That'd be cool.
But I think if animals scare you going into the woods, there's only 2 that you need to worry about, and that's going to be ticks and mosquitoes. More so the ticks, especially in Appalachia. But as far as, bears or 4-footed friends, other than somebody's misbehaved dog, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. What else here? So Matt also had this question of from when we started to now, is there anything specific that you wish you did differently? Or is there something that you're really glad that you did?
I know one that I definitely wish that I did differently. So I've had the rear axle out of my truck like a lot, and I have not re-geared. So I'm on 35s, and I'm running 336 gears. Now the truck makes pretty decent power, but like 45 miles an hour is like a tough road speed to maintain. I should have regeared. It should be on 410s. But that's I don't know. I guess live and learn. I think arguably as far as drivability goes, if you're going to modify a truck and you're into it where you plan on armor and tires and gear, regearing should be like really close to the top. And I
Yep.
just screwed that up. So don't do what I did. Now, as far as stuff I'm really glad that I did, I love the front bumper on my truck. Now, it's heavy as all hell, actually. I don't know an exact weight on it, but it's heavy. However, I have used that thing practically almost every time that I've gone out and actually wheeled the truck. Every angle on that bumper and every plate just matches perfectly so that if I need to steer and come off of a rock or a tree, I mean, I've used the bars that come across the headlights to pivot off of trees probably a dozen times. And it's just a really good piece of equipment that I'm real happy with. Wham Bumpers made it. That company since sold. I believe they're still called Wham, but I don't think it's the same people, or at least not all the same people. But yeah, I'm very happy with that bumper choice. That is something when I think of my truck, I'm like, man, I'm happy that I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy my trail gear, but mine's up so high that I really don't bounce it off of anything. It just
Yeah.
gives me the clearance. But I think if I had to go back and do something different on my truck, and I go back and forth on this. Right before I welded my sliders on, I almost put a 1-inch body lift on, mainly for ease of maintenance. It makes like pulling the transmission out, getting the top 2 bolts a little easier, a little bit more fender clearance. It's not terrible to do. And I was like, you know what? Put the sliders on. And now I kind of wish that I could go up another inch and raise my sliders, but it's like cutting them off the frame. So it's, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
would it have helped me? Yeah, probably. Like, I want to go to 35s eventually, but I kind of don't too. I'm happy on my 33s. Like, I go back and forth. As far as something I'm glad I did was that I didn't listen to the internet and that I stuck lunchbox lockers in front and rear on a daily driver. They've been awesome. Like they have turned my truck into a point and shoot vehicle. It has saved drivetrain like shock loading. It's just kept everything a lot more controlled. It was a good purchase.
Yeah. Do you feel so? I've never driven a vehicle with a lunchbox in the front. Do you feel like it gets grabby on obstacles, or once it locks, you can kind of point where you want to go?
So it depends. It will definitely let me know when I pick up a front tire. Like when I went over the rock at Fincastle, it went ahead and turned me left before I was really ready for it. The truck kind of drove itself. You know, the thing that's annoying with it is that it searches for center. Like if I'm running Green Ridge Road, it's a smooth gravel road, no turns on it, hardly at all. I will kick it into 4-wheel drive there sometimes because it gets washboard out real bad. And it just searches for center. If I get a little bit right, it'll want to pull me left. And I'm doing this back and forth. It's not that it's heavy. It's definitely a different feel, but it's not, for me, I was fine with it in the 24. You know, it's nothing crazy. It's not like I couldn't steer. I'm not pushing through things. I've never felt the front end not want to turn.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question, was what's it like in snow? But then I remembered it's a bear and it hibernates.
Exactly. Well, and it's a Toyota that doesn't like salt. So I
Yeah.
park it. Once the salt flies, I'm done. Like
Yeah, I
I
don't
drive it
blame
through
you.
the backyard and that's it.
Yep. I don't blame you. That'll mostly be the Frontier this year, truthfully. Other than like we might take a trip or two, but it won't see daily use.
Yeah.
It's too old.
Yep. It's too old and I would really like to keep the frame that's left under it there.
Yeah. I love this next question. So this is John Powers. What is your dream off-road racing full-size rig? And I think about this at least once a day. I want a TTB OBS Ford with a big old blown 5.0 build. And I just want to jump listening to like Suicide Boys in the desert with my friends. And yeah, I just love it. I'm not like a big Ford guy at all, actually, but an OBS Ford really has a special place in my heart, and I want to build one so bad. So that's definitely mine for a full-size off-road racer.
I actually passed one of those today that caught my attention. It looked like it was straight out of 1985. red and black two-tone, had the light bar in the bed with all the KCs up top. The tires were all, I think they were sitting that way because traction beam lifted. It was really cool.
That's
It was
awesome.
cool. I've always wanted a Volkswagen Sandrail. I don't know if that qualifies as full size, but like I have this vision in my head of having a Sandrail with a removable body, removable windshield, something that like I can go beat around the dirt. I'm not going to get covered up in dust and mud, but like I can go take the body off in the middle of July and go cruise around back roads, screw around. But I really want to take it and put like a expanded metal floor in it, some tractor weights on the back, wheelie bars, cutting brakes, and just wheel stand it all through town. I think that would be amazing.
That'd be a blast. That's awesome. So the next one, so this was a two-part question from John. The second one here is, what is your dream overlanding full-size rig? So I'm kind of like a simple man here, and I feel like I have it. So I've wanted a GMT 800 for a while, and I picked up a '01 Yukon with the 8.1, and it's a tank. It's lifted like 6 inches, and it does everything I need it to. I don't really get excited about like what are those, like the Earth Roamers and all those crazy.
Yeah, I'm not into that stuff. It's too
Like,
big.
It's too big, and I don't like realistically. I don't see myself ever taking trips where stuff like that would make sense. Now, I
No.
noticed like obviously like a Unimog is freaking awesome, but I don't sit and dream about that because it seems like a lot of work. Like I could
Yeah.
just hop in my Yukon and just go. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm fortunate that I found one that's I think super clean, and I'm excited to take some more trips in it.
Yeah, I'm kind of mirroring you. I wanted a first gen Tacoma, one of the '01 to '04 model years when I was in high school. I graduated in '06. Like they were the hot little mini truck at the time. And I actually ended up riding in the back of an extended cab from Hagerstown down to Baltimore one night, just randomly. It was like 11 o'clock at night. One guy I knew had one of these things, and he's like, "Hey, 5 of y'all, jump in. We're going to Baltimore." We're like, "Okay." So, but man, I just thought, man, that thing ran really nice, and I always wanted one. And man, it was like 15 years later, I ended up picking up mine and swore
Yeah.
I'd never do anything to it. But here I am. It's been a great truck. Like I wish I had a little bit more power, but who doesn't? And
Right.
now I've got a family. When I bought that truck, I specifically wanted a manual and a 6-foot bed, and you can't get that in a crew cab. It's only automatic and it's a short bed. So now I've got a family, and it's like, man, I really wish I would have got the crew cab short bed. That was 10, 11 years ago now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, same deal. I've, a wife and 4 kids, and I could basically just put my wife in the passenger seat. There's no
Yep.
room for anybody else. So for us, the Yukon was a requirement. It definitely has stabled the Frontier a little bit because now if we do go somewhere, it really is just me in it. And
Yeah.
I don't just go somewhere by myself very often. So it's kind of nice. It's a shelf queen a little bit. It's going to keep it alive longer, I guess. I don't know if I quit jumping it into the yard whenever I do drive that thing. So the next thing that we have, so two different segments that we want to do weekly. So the first is going to be Q&A, and the second one is going to be a tech tip of the day. So today's tech tip is also going to be brought to us by Aaron. Aaron, what do you have for us?
Women may not find us handsome, but damn it, do they find us handy. It's time for a CAMO Convoy Tech Tip.
So last week I had a friend break down the side of the road, and I ended up flat towing him off the road, and the strap ended up coming loose, and he ran it over, and my strap's gone. So I got shopping a little bit for some recovery gear, and I ended up buying a rope and some soft shackles, which I've never had soft shackles. This is direct result of our podcast a few weeks ago with the winching and recovery. I never saw use for a soft shackle until you said wrapping them around a control arm. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And sure enough, my friend had an Equinox, and there's nothing on the front to hook up to. So I was like, man, I wish I had soft shackles. So I bought a rope, soft shackles, like $40. And the tech tip comes, we didn't even think about this when we were doing the episode, is that there was color options for the rope. I could get black, a high vis orange, or high vis green, like a neon green. And anybody that knows me, I usually go black. It doesn't show dirt. It's just industrial black. I go black. And I didn't this time. I went high vis green because it's recovery gear. I want people to see that it's there. Like if I'm flat towing, nobody's going to see a black strap. I want this thing there in the world, loud. Like obviously not in front of a cop, but I want it
Yeah.
loud. So that's my tech tip. Buy recovery gear that's bright colors that everybody can see, and it doesn't have to match your vehicle's color scheme.
Yeah. No, I think that's so smart. Especially like just kind of think about the times that you've had to recover somebody and you take the rigging off. Like odds are you're not in the best state of mind. You're probably tired. You just did some work. You obviously didn't want to get stuck. The last thing you want to do is search for your gear. So I love that. Mine is neon green, and I think I have red as well. So yeah, I like that. Don't buy black or brown or gray. Buy something you can see. That's cool. Yeah, which is popular, and that makes no sense to me. The camouflage, that's crazy. But yeah, we have. I'll throw a link up. It looks like I think you dropped a link of the stuff you bought. Obviously, we're not affiliated with it, but if you want to be affiliated with us, we like to be affiliated. Also, if you want to be affiliated with us, what do we have in the Camo store?
We've got shirts now. We got apparel.
We do. We have apparel, and there's 2 shirts for you. And they're so cheap that if you buy one and return them, I will owe money. Get you one. I think the basic one is like, I don't know, 13, 14 bucks, 15 bucks maybe. Shipping's pretty cheap. Tariffs haven't affected the Camo Convoy podcast. So yeah, check them out. I'll drop a link. There's also the full line of all of the Central Appalachian Mountain Overland gear in there. And it is pretty cool. And you'll notice it's dirt cheap. The reason it's dirt cheap is because, and I'll tell everybody, the profit margin on everything is set to 1% because I don't care about taking your money. I just want you to have cool stuff. And I like seeing people wearing the gear that is about us because that's cool. And my whole thing since we started this is I don't want your money. I just want to be friends. So if we're all looking cool and snazzy in our matching Camo Convoy gear, it's pretty good. So if you have any requests on the gear front, let me know. I can be pretty flexible with that. But again, I'll drop the link to that in the show notes. So I appreciate it. Until next time, again, guys, shiny side up, muddy side down. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sweet. Look at us. We didn't even go 4 hours this time.